Welcome, fellow humans. Today I'm going to talk about things that happen in dreams. As you might be aware from my video about how I taught myself to lucid dream when I was a child, I have always been fascinated with sleep and dreaming. And I've been paying attention to my dreams for basically my entire life. As a child, I would sometimes hear things about how there were certain things that you just couldn't do in a dream. And I was really curious, is that true? What are the limits of dreams? One of those that I heard was that you can only dream in black and white, that you might think you experience color in a dream, but you don't actually. And that was really weird for me because I was fairly sure that I did experience color in dreams. And then one day I had a dream that was very explicitly about color. In fact, I was looking at some really pretty flowers with really bright colors, and I was with somebody else, and I was talking to them, and they were saying that the flowers were in black and white. And that surprised and confused me, and I ended up following the flowers because they were so pretty and I was curious about them. And it turned out to be that the flowers were only in color for people who were really smart, which is kind of annoyingly prideful, but in my defense, it was also a trap that I had completely fallen into, and somebody was trying to kidnap smart kids. And so when I woke up, I thought, that had to have been in color. The dream wouldn't have worked at all if it was in black and white. And what does it even mean to say that it was actually in black and white if I experienced color as much as it's possible to experience it? However, looking into why did anybody even tell me this in the first place, at first I thought it might just have been one of those things that kids say to each other, because there was a lot of just random misinformation that got passed from person to person when I was growing up. Misinformation is still a really big problem, but it's so much easier to look things up nowadays if you actually want to correct yourself. And back then, you just kind of heard things and would go, okay, I hope that's true, and just move on with your life. But it turns out that the black and white concept for dreams may actually have been more of a generational phenomenon. While many people of all ages do dream in color, it looks like there are many people who do dream exclusively in black and white, and so maybe some of them started the idea that you only dream in black and white because they assumed that their personal experience was a more universal one. And I say generational because studies looking into it have found that the factor is growing up with black and white television. And I think it's really neat that that sort of influence could have a significant effect on your dreams throughout your life. A little disturbing, but kind of interesting, and maybe kind of noir dreams, but I have color dreams, so I don't have that experience. A second thing I was told was a thing that you can't do in dreams. I was actually told you could do it, but it would be bad, which is the old, if you die in a dream, you will die in reality. And I have died in so many dreams. I have died over and over and over again. And to the best of my knowledge, I'm still alive. So I'm pretty sure you can safely die in a dream. I'm generally skeptical of any claim that there are some things that never happen in dreams, because there are just so many people that are so diverse, and there are so many dreams. We have so many dreams throughout our lives that it feels really hard to rule out something as never happening in anyone's dreams. I was a little more open to the idea of information I got through my actual courses in psychology when I was in college. And there I was taught that there is something that doesn't happen in human dreams. And that is that while things can change into other things, and people can change into other people, that inanimate objects don't turn into people, and people don't turn into inanimate objects. Which I found interesting because I immediately was able to think of a dream that I had where that had happened. So after the class, I went to my professor and I told him about a dream where I had been in a town and an evil magician was turning children into round objects, like marbles and balloons and beach balls, and so the kids were turning into inanimate objects. And he pointed out that while that was happening, it wasn't happening nonsensically. It was happening within the context of a dream story, which is absolutely true and does feel like an important distinction. So maybe that's something that doesn't happen randomly in dreams. Although my dreams rarely have something randomly turn into anything else, they tend to have a little bit more structure to them. What I have found really interesting about dreams is also the sensory aspects of them. My dreams are a great deal like real life. And it's actually very interesting because while I usually can see things in my dreams the way I see them in reality, because I ended up losing most of my vision in my early 20s, sometimes my dreams will be fairly normal, like I used to have when I was younger and I would see things. But after the vision loss, I would also have recurring dreams where I was trying to make something out, but I couldn't see it clearly, which is an experience I have enough in reality. I don't need it in dreams, but stuff in your life works its way into dreams. From what I've read, it is very rare to have the sense of smell in your dreams if you were sighted when you were growing up. And that seems to be true for me, but I also have a very weak sense of smell anyhow. I don't notice smell very much in my day-to-day life, so it hasn't surprised me that it doesn't turn up in dreams. They do also say that it's pretty uncommon to have sense of taste turn up in dreams, and I have had taste in dreams many times. I've eaten a lot of things in dreams, although it is more common for me to be about to eat something and then wake up. But the sensory experiences in dreams can be fairly diverse. Which is also why I wondered about my family member who has aphantasia and no mind's eye. And it occurred to me, does he have a mind's eye during dreams? I had just kind of assumed that one would, but when I asked him about it, he wasn't sure. He said that he might not, or he might have dreams that just aren't very visually vivid. And that only speaks to one person's experience with aphantasia. I don't have other people to ask about it. But it's just one of those interesting things because he is a normally sighted person, and so he has that sensory experience in his normal life, and it didn't occur to me that it would be absent in his dreams. I really find that dreams can vary so much more than I had just assumed when I was growing up, because while people do talk about dreams sometimes, I find people don't usually go that much into detail. I have also had some really weird dreams. Probably the weirdest was being at the beginning of the universe and watching the forces start to take effect. It didn't last very long as a dream. I think my brain was trying to make it happen and didn't really know how to put that into a dream, but it was kind of cool. I've also had several musical dreams, which is pretty nice, except I have no musical talent, so they're not very good quality. But I did rather like the one where I was watching a stage production of Beauty and the Beast, and I woke up during the part with the volcano, and I've still been wondering, what happens with the volcano? I'm really curious about the version of Beauty and the Beast that has a volcano in it. And then there's the passage of time in dreams, which is also an interesting thing, because dreams don't actually last for very long in real time, but everybody knows that you can have longer experiences within the dream itself. But I've had some dreams where vast quantities of time have passed. I have had multiple dreams that took up years of dream time. One of them was actually several decades of dream time. I had that when I was a teenager, and so when I woke up, it was extremely disorienting because I had just recently been several decades older than I actually was, and had had a whole life that I hadn't had and had to readjust to the whole, oh, I'm still in high school, I'm a teenager, okay. I've also had a lot of dreams where partway through the dream, I take a nap. I think this is related to my health issues and how fatigued I am. And sometimes when I'm really tired, I'm more likely to have dreams about being too tired to do something. I find it a bit frustrating to have a dream about needing to sleep. It's like, hey, body, I'm sleeping. Right now, I'm giving you what you want. You don't need to nag me about how I need to sleep. But I will have a really wide range of how much time might pass within the dream itself, although most of my dreams don't actually have that much dream time. They're usually significantly less than a day, so it's not very disorienting when I wake up. But basically, I've just been really fascinated by the range of what can and can't happen in dreams and how they work and how they vary from person to person. And so that's my story. And if you liked it, please click like. And if you'd like more similar content, then subscribe. If you know someone who might find it interesting, then please share. But most of all, if you have any questions or similar experiences or different experiences, every single one of you probably dreams. There are a few people who don't actually dream, but almost all of you probably dream. So I would love to read your comments. Thank you.